Okay, here we are on part 2 of Ozzy's Nixie clock repair. Basically we have the, since it came from Europe, it was meant to run on 240 volts. So we have a step-up transformer over here, and Ozzy had that set up right. One thing about this plug though, Ozzy sees, it's not a grounded system. They're not using the ground wire, so you can put the plug upside right if you want, and then it won't bump into a tabletop. So we had that part set up right, and in the power supply unit, the main problem was that this large transformer was only glued in place originally, so it came loose and chipping and smashed the circuit board, breaking some traces and diodes, and then over here it broke a 12K ohm high wattage resistor off this transformer, and it also snapped all of the power leads off this transformer to this board. So I've bolted this transformer in now, as you can see. It shouldn't go anywhere. And I've riveted this transformer down, so it shouldn't be able to go anywhere. Was able to salvage the original 12K ohm power resistor, even though the lead was snapped off of it. There was the end of it was all metal. So by cleaning that up, I was able to solder a red wire onto it and salvage that. And replaced the original 2200 UF capacitor that was defective on here, repaired all the traces, and powered it up. And so we have power. Now we're going to get into some of the functions on the back. There is a green-red LED in the belly button that's not lined up with the hole. I'm not going to open the robot up because I'm sure it's held together with glue and stuff too. But you can see it, and that might be all that Hank ever intended. And the switches on the back, one switch on the back will turn on a motor to run the ear scanners, and another switch on the clock. You can either have just the clock, or you can have the clock and an alternating light flasher between the eyes and the dome, which I'm sure, just like this motor, he only meant to be used on special occasions, because these are actually light bulbs, and when they burn out, you're screwed. You cannot get in there to replace those lights once they're burned out. I mean, you'd have to tear the head apart, and that's not gonna happen. So even though this looks like a plug, of course it's not a plug. The wires go in directly, and this metal sleeve is just sitting there. You've got the two colored push buttons, and you've got the two toggle switches. This bottom toggle switch will turn on the ear scanners, like so. And this upper toggle, when it's pushed over to the right when you're looking at it from the back, that's clock only. And if you click it over to the left, then it's clock and the alternating eye dome light effect. Happens on the second, more or less. And since I don't want to be the one to burn those lights out, I'll turn that off. Now, in order to set the clock, you have these two buttons, and when you first power up, of course, anytime it loses power, it loses time. There isn't any recovery there. This one is going to tell it that you want to set time, so you push that once, and then the black one will advance. In this case, it'll advance the hours first. And once you get the hour to the correct position, then you push the red one again, and now it's waiting for you to set the minutes. So then you'd push the black button again until you get the minutes right. When you're all done, you push the red one, and you're out of there. You don't really set the seconds as far as I can tell. And of course, the hours are down here. It's 2, 29, and 20 seconds, 21 seconds, 22. He made the seconds the largest display because it shows the most animation that way. So let's go ahead and kill the power. I've just switched off your inverter. Well, not inverter, it's actually just a step-up transformer. And when you first power up, what you're going to see is something that looks like that. And if you wait long enough, like I think about around 10 seconds or so, we'll normally get a few more lights, but you don't have to wait. You can reach around to the back and push the red button. You know, it did that on its own. I haven't pushed the red button yet. Took about 10 or 12 seconds for it to get into that mode. But it's still not really telling time yet because you haven't set the hour. So I'll push the red button, and you can notice how the seconds went out. Now if I push the black button, I can advance the hours. I just advanced it to 2. Now I'm going to push the red button, and I'll push the black button, and I can advance the minutes. And if I was going to get it close to being ready, it'd be somewhere around 2:30. We'll just call it 2:30. And then I'll push the red button again to tell it I'm done. And the clock is now running. So when you power up to set the time, push the red button, then push the black to set the hours. When the hours are done, push the red button, push the black to set the minutes. When you're done with the minutes, push the red button. You're out of there. And like I say, there's special effects, or your ear scanners, and your flashing high dome light stuff. And the clicking sound that comes with it. Here, let me turn the ear scanners off so you can hear the... It's like you used a car blinker relay in there. But any relay would make a nice clicking sound, I guess, so it didn't have to be, but I bet he did. Alright. There you have it.